Well, it was very, very exciting just to talk to Lynn about the vaccine that she's just taken. She's 81, and really very moving to hear her say that she's doing it for Britain. And that's exactly right, because she's protecting herself, but she's also helping to protect the entire country. And across the whole of the UK this morning, that is happening in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales, in England. People are having the vaccine for the first time, and it will gradually make a huge, huge difference. But I stress gradually, because we're not there yet. We haven't defeated this virus yet, and it's very important for people to understand. Sorry, it's quite hard to speak through this, but it's important for people to understand that the virus is, alas, still rising in some parts of the country. It's rising, for instance, in London. We've got it down hugely as a result of the measures we took in November, which have just come off. People made a huge, huge effort. We can't afford to relax now. And so my message would be, it's amazing to see the vaccine coming out. It's amazing to see this tremendous shot in the arm for the entire nation, but we can't afford to relax now.
What would you say to those people that are scared about getting the vaccine?
Well, I would just say to all those who are scared, don't be. And you've seen Lynn take it, you've seen Porter, you've seen people take the vaccine this morning in large numbers. People are going to be taking it in the next few days and weeks, and there's nothing to be nervous about. And what I would say, sorry, get this thing on properly. What I would say is that there are those obviously who feel that a vaccine is something they object to politically or for ideological reasons or for medical reasons. I think they're totally wrong. I know that there are loads of people who count themselves anti-vaxxers. That's totally the wrong approach. It's safe, it's the right thing to do. It's good for you, and it's good for the whole of the country.
Are you confident that the system can cope with this rollout?
Well, it's going to take a while. I want to stress that it will take, weeks and months rather than just days to get all this done. Obviously, the NHS is going to work as fast as it possibly can, and I'm extremely proud and impressed with what the NHS is doing this morning. But it will be a right the way through for the next few months. So I just urge people to contain their impatience. It's a very, very exciting moment, but there's still a lot of work to be done and a lot of discipline to be maintained.
On Brexit, unsurprisingly, are you hopeful that you are going to get a deal?
I'm always hopeful, yes, I'm very hopeful. But I've got to be honest with you, I think that the situation at the moment is very tricky. I think that our friends have just got to understand that the UK has left the European Union in order to be able to exercise democratic control over the way we do things. And then there's also the issue of fisheries, where we're a long way apart still. But hope springs eternal, and I'll do my best to sort it out if we can. But I want to stress one thing, which is very, very important. I think people need to realise that whatever happens, it's going to be different on January the 1st. Whatever kind of deal we get, whether it's going to be like Australia or like Canada, there's going to be change, and businesses and people need to get ready for that change. And I hope everybody understands that.
Will you keep trying for a deal right up until the wire?
Yeah, of course. We're always hopeful, but there may come a moment when we have to acknowledge that it's time to draw stumps, and that's just the way it is. But we will prosper mightily, as I've always said, under any version. And if we have to go for an Australian solution, then that's fine too. I just want to say, one thing about the current situation. I didn't mention one thing about the state of the pandemic. And I made a point about how the disease is rising in some parts. It's been falling massively. It's one crucial point that I want to get over to people. We're finding that people don't realise quite how easy it is to transmit this disease asymptomatically, without symptoms. And 1 in 3 people is passing it on without even having any symptoms at all yourself. Do you see what I mean? So you can be a secret spreader. of the disease. And I don't think people have grasped that. And it's very, very important in the weeks ahead that everybody understands that. We didn't realize at the beginning quite how easily the disease can be spread without symptoms. It's very, very important people think about that, think that they could be, you and I, we could be, transmitting it without actually having the symptoms.
Just to drag you back to Brexit,
Yes.
How confident are you that meeting face to face is going to make any difference at all?
Well, you've got to be optimistic. You've got to believe that there's the power of sweet reason to get this thing over the line. But I've got to tell you, it's looking very, very difficult at the moment. And we'll do our level best. But I would just say to everybody, be of good cheer. It will be, there are great options ahead for our country on any view. But the key thing is, on January the 1st, whatever happens, there's going to be change, and people need to get ready for that change.
Do you think that going to Brussels, is that really just you trying to show that you have tried everything? Is that the main reason that you're going?
I think we'll see where we get to in the course of the next few days, but I think the UK government's position is that we're willing to engage at any level, political or otherwise. We're willing to try anything, do it. Of course we are, but there are just limits beyond which, obviously, no sensible, independent government or country could go, and people have got to understand that.
Last question before I get whacked.
You're not going to get whacked, don't worry.
Or you never know if
You're not going to get whacked.
And what would you say to people that work in business who are terrified that you're not going to get a deal?
Well, I think that everybody needs to understand that on any view there's going to be change on January the 1st. And if we have to come out on Australian terms, as they're called, then we will make sure that we look after everybody in this country, of course. But also, I think people need to recognise that this is a big, big opportunity for this country on any view. And yes, we'll be able to do things differently, but we'll be able to do many things better as well. And there are big, big opportunities for the UK, whether it's Canada or Australia. I'm very confident either way.